Hola, happy day to you. This is our reflexives number 2 video for notes in lesson 4B. If you haven't if you haven't completed video number 1, please go back and do that first because this will make no sense to you if you don't. What we need to go over today are some irregular verbs that are also reflexive, just so that you have them for reference so that you can use these as we go through the chapter. We learned yesterday that reflexive verbs are verbs you do to yourself. That's a big thing to know. We also learned that reflexive verbs all require what's called a reflexive pronoun, which are these little guys at the beginning: may, te, say, nos, os, and say. That's what communicates that you're doing the thing to yourself. Yesterday we learned that the little pronouns can go before a conjugated verb, like you see here on the screen. We also learned that reflexive pronouns, I'm going to go back here, can go after a verb. We're not going to mess with that much today. Today, though, I just need you to jot down these different verbs. I'm going to talk about them a little bit, and then you can just pause me and write them all down, and you'll be all set to go. So the first 3 verbs on the left side are all boot verbs. We've learned about boot verbs numerous times. Boot verbs have a spelling change in them. And there are some boot verbs that are also reflexive. So acostarse is one. Acostarse is, from your vocab, the verb that means to go to bed. It would be lovely if it worked. And so those are the forms there. Despertarse is also a boot verb. It is our verb for saying wake up. And vestirse is a boot verb where the E just changes to an I to get dressed. So you have that. On the right side here, you have a couple things to know. The verb irse, which you have in your vocab, to leave or go away. Remember, ir is irregular. Ir is the little V words. So you have to use those with the pronouns. So me voy is I leave or I'm going somewhere. Te vas, se va, things like that. Same thing over here with ponerse. We've learned in the past that the yo form of poner is pongo. It has a weird yo form. So when you're dealing with reflexive, that carries over. The yo form of ponerse is me pongo, for I put on. And then finally, not all the verbs in this chapter are reflexive, such as the verb, that's wrong, almorzar. Almorzar means to eat lunch. Now, you don't eat yourself for lunch, right? So almorzar is not reflexive. It's just something that you do. However, it is a boot verb. So just jot this down as a reminder that almorzar, when you conjugate it, is a boot verb. So that's all there is to that. For the next few days after this, we're just going to be practicing reflexive verbs in different ways. And hopefully answering any questions you may have about reflexive verbs so that you can use them when it comes to test out time and beyond. That's all for today. Make sure you pause and you write down all of these forms, and you'll be in good shape. Adios.